Chapter 2 from a manuscript I've been working on, a first draft. A book called Portrait. I didn't realize it at the time, how cool it was. I'm talking about painting. Both sides of my family provide me with their own opportunity to enjoy that experience, that world of painting. Combined with a few art classes in high school, color and design course in college, and a handful of artist friends along the way, there was a pretty decent foundation, collection of art supplies I had I could pull from. I loved hanging out with the painters. They were some of my best friends. In those days, sometimes I would up and paint with them, or come home for Christmas break between semesters, set up a little easel at a desk and just paint night after night. Because I was drained from studying, writing, taking tests, and painting was a different way to still keep the brain active without having to worry about college stresses. My mother would encourage me to hang the paintings in the living room, rotate them according to the season. Sometimes they were Bob Ross paintings. Other times they were paintings of my friends, featured little symbolic touches. For a teenager and 20-something, with a few other passions and endeavors, I was pretty comfortable with oil paints by then. My father's mother set me up with a tackle box full of them when I was 16, straight from her personal arsenal. There wasn't one uniform brand, nor was there ever a pristine set of brand new shiny brushes. Instead, there were wild sponges, used knives, seasoned brushes that dated back to her days as a bustling freelance muralist who would show up at homes of clients of hers and paint dramatic faux brick, stone, and other illusions of blue skies through walls. My childhood home was full of examples of this. I remember comparing the actual sky color in that painted hole in the wall, and rubbing my hand across the painted leaf on the hardwood floor in the kitchen next to where I would come inside and leave my boots. Her work that sprawled across the house was thoughtful. Maybe that, there was actually a leaf there from outside. Maybe that day the sky was exactly that color. Well, that red tackle box from her was filled with these types of brushes and tools to paint these sorts of things, along with linseed oil and kneaded erasers and pencils and pens. None of them in factory packaging. None of them new. Most people I talked to those days around my age were scared, intimidated by oil. But soon my grandma made it quite easy to dive into that kind of thing, demonstrating how to take a painted door and make it look like a natural one with wood grain that had not 1 ounce of tacky or obvious indications that it was painted with simply linseed oil and some sort of burnt umber and raw sienna somewhere in the middle. It was all amazing, not to mention her ability to paint landscapes and nature scenes and wild animals using nothing but her imagination. In all her work, there was never a tree limb, a branch that looked too perfect to really exist in nature. She could return to the same motif with the same color scheme, and even when they stood side by side, there was never anything quite actually executed in a repetitive way. Like nature itself and all those familiar cliches, it was always sprawling, imaginative, wild. That being said, she would barely offer much of an explanation. More likely say that it's all whatever. This inspired me, never frustrated me, as I learned to first paint with her. In addition to all these, magical skills she had, she provided me with a living example of someone that found in art something more than a hobby. She was a working artist. Found a way to refrain from any flirt with the commercial realm and all the while maintain the priority of beauty.